Picture this. You're lying in bed at 2 a.m., eyes open, staring at the ceiling. And somewhere deep in your chest, there's this quiet, heavy feeling you can't shake. Like you're waiting for something, waiting for someone to call, waiting for things to finally click, waiting for your life to just start. Maybe you've been waiting for a sign. Maybe you've been waiting for the right moment. Maybe you've been waiting for someone, a mentor, a partner, a parent, a friend, to finally show up and say, I see you. Let me help you get there. Here's what nobody tells you. That person, they're not coming. And I know how that sounds. I know that stings, but stay with me, because what I'm about to tell you is the most freeing truth you will ever hear in your entire life. The setup, naming the pain. Most of us grow up believing, somewhere in the back of our minds, that life works like a movie, that there's a moment coming, a turning point, a hero who steps in just when things get hard, a mentor who spots something special in you, a stroke of luck that finally opens the door. We see it in films, we read it in books, we scroll through highlight reels online and convince ourselves, their moment came, mine is coming too. So we wait. We wait for the promotion to be handed to us. We wait for someone to believe in our idea before we act on it. We wait for the anxiety to go away before we chase what we want. We wait to feel ready. We wait for permission. And while we wait, weeks pass, months pass, years pass. And the saddest part? Most people don't even realize they're waiting. They call it being patient. They call it being realistic. They dress it up in 1,000 different excuses. But if you're honest with yourself right now, really honest, you know, you've been waiting too. I was waiting too. I want you to think about every person you deeply admire, every person who built something real, every person who pulled themselves out of a hard situation and created a life that meant something. Did someone save them? Sometimes, yes. People had support. People had help along the way, and that matters. But at some point, at the critical point, every single one of them made a decision that nobody else could make for them. They decided to stop outsourcing their life. They stopped waiting for the world to notice them and started showing up as if the world already owed them nothing, because it doesn't. The world doesn't owe you a rescue, and the sooner you accept that, the sooner something extraordinary happens. You become the person you were waiting for. That's the shift. That's the whole thing right there. When you truly internalize that no one is coming to save you, not because the world is cruel, not because you're unworthy, but simply because that's not how transformation works, you stop being a passenger in your own story. You grab the wheel. And that is not a loss. That is the single greatest upgrade available to a human being. The cost of waiting. Let's talk about what waiting actually costs you, because it's not free. Every day you wait for conditions to be perfect, you pay with your potential. Every week you stay in the wrong job because you're hoping someone will tap you on the shoulder and say you're meant for more. That's a week you didn't build toward what you actually want. Every relationship you stay in past its expiration date, hoping the other person will magically change. That's emotional energy bleeding out of you that could be going somewhere real. Every dream you shelve because you're waiting to feel confident first. Here's the brutal truth. Confidence doesn't come before action. It comes because of action. The people who seem fearless, they were terrified. They moved anyway. Waiting feels safe. Waiting feels responsible. But waiting is one of the most expensive habits a person can have, because what you're spending is time, and time doesn't come back. The version of you that takes action today and the version of you that keeps waiting aren't just a few steps apart. They're entire worlds apart, and the gap gets wider every single day. What taking ownership actually looks like. Now, let me be clear about something important, because I don't want you to walk away from this thinking ownership means doing everything alone. It doesn't. Taking ownership doesn't mean refusing help. It doesn't mean isolating yourself. It doesn't mean grinding yourself into the ground with no support. What it means is this: you stop making your progress conditional on someone else's participation. You ask for help, but you don't wait for it. You welcome support, but you don't require it to move. You stay open to mentors, but you don't sit still until one appears. Taking ownership looks like applying for the opportunity before you feel ready. It looks like having the hard conversation instead of hoping the problem resolves itself. It looks like starting the project with the resources you have right now, not the ones you wish you had. It looks like choosing your health, your finances, your relationships intentionally, instead of letting life happen to you by default. Ownership is uncomfortable. It's supposed to be, because it means there's no one left to blame. And that is terrifying for most people. But here's the other side of that. If there's no one left to blame, there's also no one left to hold you back. That's freedom. Real freedom. The deepest version of this truth isn't about action. It's about identity. When you stop waiting to be saved, you don't just change what you do. You change who you are. You go from someone who reacts to life to someone who leads it. You go from someone who hopes things improve to someone who makes things improve. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of your circumstances and start seeing yourself as the author of them. And I'll tell you something, the world responds to that shift. Opportunities that were invisible before suddenly appear. Doors that were closed start opening. Not because of magic, because you're finally showing up differently. You're putting out a different energy. You're taking different actions, and different actions produce different results every time. This isn't toxic positivity. This isn't pretending life isn't hard. Life is hard. It's brutally unfair sometimes. People face real obstacles, trauma, poverty, health, systemic barriers. All of that is real, and it matters. But even inside those constraints, especially inside those constraints, the most powerful move available to any human being is to say, whatever my circumstances are, I'm going to choose how I respond. Viktor Frankl survived Nazi concentration camps and came out the other side with this truth. The last human freedom is the ability to choose your response in any given set of circumstances. No one can take that from you. That's ownership at its deepest level. So here's what I want you to do. Not next week, not when things settle down. Right now, or the moment this video ends. Ask yourself one question. Where am I waiting? Where in your life have you been on standby, hoping someone or something will come along and change things for you? Is it your career, your health, a relationship, a creative project you keep putting off, a conversation you keep avoiding? Find it, name it, and then make one move. Just one, not the whole plan, not the perfect plan. One move in the direction you actually want to go. Because here's the last thing I'll leave you with. The rescue you've been waiting for, it's already inside you. It has been this whole time. You don't need to be saved. You need to save yourself. And you are absolutely, completely capable of doing exactly that. If this hit home for you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Drop a comment below. Where have you been waiting? I read every single one. And if you want more content like this, subscribe. New videos every week. You already have everything you need. Now, go use it.